Hello, everyone. I just recently got my newly released Apollo Ultra on October 8th, and I was looking to make a video trying to give my impressions of upgrading from an Apollo Pro or similar scooter to a top tier scooter like the Apollo Ultra. I've been riding all summer long with my Apollo Pro that I got in June. I got around 1,300 kilometers on it, and I really, really enjoyed the Pro. What annoyed me about the Pro was the limited range. So that's the main factor why I got the Ultra, is because of the limited range. I was talking to Apollo during the summer, trying to see if there was like a second battery coming or something like that that we could hook up to the Pro and get the range up, and looking at the price of installing a second battery on there and uh, versus just replacing the Pro with something bigger. In the end, it made sense to just upgrade to the Ultra. So they got the Ultra was orderable at the end of August, and I got it in end mid October. So my first impression when I got this thing out of the box at the Apollo warehouse is this thing is huge. Pictures just don't do it justice. It's super heavy. Weighs around 120 pounds. Not far from twice the weight of the Pro, if I'm not mistaken. The other thing that really impressed me is the solidity of the stem. It's rock solid. Nothing like the flex that you find in the Pro. My Pro is solid. Like there's no play in the actual stem, but if you pull and back and forth on the stem, you can feel it flex. Not with the Ultra. The Ultra really feels like a motorbike. It's super solid. It's like no flex at all. The deck is big, it's super wide, and you have more than enough room to place your feet however you want, and not having your toes come out of the side or your heels come out of the side. And you have this this lip at the end of the deck where you can put your foot when you're accelerating so that you're not getting thrown off the scooter. The controls is pretty much the same as the Pro. You get the same display, you get the same finger throttles, similar hydraulic brakes. These are by nuts. The other one was Zoom. The brakes are a bit bigger. The pads have heat sink attached to them for that extra cooling and to deal with the higher speeds and the weight. The handlebar is the same. That's one detail I'll get into later. You have your key lock and voltage display and the usual turbo and eco mode selector switch on the left side of the handlebar. And to be honest, this is really where the similarities between the Pro and the Ultra stops. Anyone looking at the Ultra thinking it's a bigger Pro is just wrong. The ride characteristics between the Ultra and the Pro are worlds apart, and to be honest, like it really took some getting used to. My first hour riding the Ultra, I wasn't sure if I made the good decision. Yeah, and the reason why is that both scooters have like they look similar. They both have scooters that have similar geometry, like suspension geometry. The Ultra, the springs and the rebound are race car stiff. They look the same, but the Pro will hover all the nooks and crannies. You won't even feel it. It's like you're riding a cloud. The Ultra will make you feel everything. It will try to shatter your teeth if you're going on a bumpy road. It's really, really, really that stiff. Same thing with the steering. The Pro steering is super light. You can maneuver the scooter at whatever speed. It's really easy to maneuver even at slow speed. You could be, I could use it at walking speed of 5-6 kilometers an hour and go around, obstacles or poles or whatever. It was super easy to maneuver. The Ultra is not as easy to maneuver if you're going below 20 kilometers an hour. The steering doesn't want to move left and right. It's super heavy, and it's made that way because it goes to 90 kilometers an hour, so you don't want to have that steering going left and right at that kind of speed. But the trade-off is that when you're going slow, it's much harder to keep in a straight line or to just go around obstacles and stuff like that. You have to lean the scooter on its side, left and right, and not just rely on the steering. Basically, just like a motorbike. Your motorbike, you're turning with the weight on the motorbike and not the handlebars. And the scooter is the same thing. The tires are wider, and the the tires, the way that they are made, is much larger and it's flatter, so you really have to lean on that tire to turn the scooter and not use the steering as much. But it's something that you can get used to. But my expectation was that it's going to be the same ride as a Pro, but with more power and range, and it really surprised me. Um, so you kind of have the feeling that the Pro is really agile, and the Ultra, for the first 30 minutes, 1 hour to riding, I just felt that it was fighting me every second. And it doesn't help that this thing has like huge power. The power of this thing is insane. Like, I knew it was faster than the Pro, but I did not know that it was going to be that much faster. It To put it simple, the Ultra in eco mode in single motor will probably outrun a 52 volt Pro in whatever mode that you want to put it in. It is just that powerful. And in dual motor, it's just insane how fast this thing accelerates. So that is, it's not a scooter that wants to go slow. It's very hard to modulate the throttle at low speeds compared to the Pro. So if you're buying this and you're going around city and basically trying to follow traffic and stop and go, and you're weaving in and out of traffic at slow speeds like to 15 to 20 kilometers an hour, the Ultra is not for you. It's not going to be a fun ride. It's very hard to maneuver in those kind of speeds versus the Pro or even the Explorer. The Pro is like, it's maybe a supercar. The Ultra is a jet, and it does take some time to get used to it. And it's not really the best scooter in all situations, but for long rides, it's really fun. I have text messages from Chris and Eloy from Apollo asking me how's the scooter, and my first response to them was like, I don't like it. The steering is way too stiff. I don't like, even after wiggling left and right for 30 minutes, and the throttle is just insane. It's unmanageable. Like, it just wants to accelerate and kill you. It's all or nothing. You have the feeling when you're used to driving the Pro, you have the feeling that the throttle is basically binary. It's like either you're accelerating like crazy in warp speed, or you're just basically coasting and slowing down. It feels like the modulation is not there, and I even thought there was something wrong with my scooter. The next day I have it fully charged up, and I'm convincing myself I need to go and ride it for real. I learned to like it, and so I gear up and I take it outside for a ride. I rode around 20 minutes in, and I'm still hating this handling. I'm still hating this throttle. It just feels awkward. And so what I did is basically I think like I felt that the handlebar was not the best for the scooter, and I had a 780 millimeter handlebar from mountain bike and carbon mountain bike bar that was lying in my garage because I wanted to install it on my downhill bike and never got to it. So I went into my garage, got the fat bar carbon, and installed that instead of the stock unit. And my friends, that changed everything for me. So it lowers your hand position, it widens your stance, and it just changes the way that the scooter handles. And that's really where I started to like riding this scooter, and took care of that, and went riding. It did 65 kilometers after that, and came back, and at that point I was in love with the scooter. Up to now, I've averaged around 65 to 85 kilometers on a single charge, always in eco mode, dual motor. I tried some high-speed spurts in Gear 3 turbo mode, but most of the riding I've done in eco mode. And like I said, the eco mode acceleration is better and faster than anything the Pro can throw at it. It's like not even comparable. The maximum I hit with it is 89 kilometers an hour on the display. GPS says it is 81, so I'm not sure who's right, but it's fast enough that you can kill yourself. And by the way, I did this in full motorcycle gear, pants, jacket, helmet, slider gloves, everything. So I don't recommend that anybody who wants to hit these speeds with this scooter do so on a regular basis, and also do so with just a bike helmet. You're just going to kill yourself. So the power is insane. The range is very good, in my opinion. Like, I can do a ride and I'll average around 35 to 40 kilometers an hour average speed and still get 65 kilometers of range. I would not even be able to do 35 on the Pro with that kind of speed. On the Pro, the best that I could do, and I weigh 230 pounds for reference, so I'm a big guy, and the maximum I could do with my Pro, if I was going around 25 to 30 kilometers an hour in eco mode and dual motor, and I was able to do around 46 to 50 kilometers, and that's really feathering the throttle and babying it and hoping there's not too many hills. So as far as the range is concerned, the Ultra just blows the Pro out of the water. I'll do 65 just having spirited driving, not really caring about the top speed, and I'll get around like 60 kilometers of range. And if you're babying it, the throttle, and you're trying to keep it between 25 and 35 kilometers an hour, I was able to do like 81, 82 kilometers. So the range is really nice. Like, that's almost 3 hours of riding time. Your feet get sore before the battery dies. So the range is really nice. So if you talking about the battery, stock unit charger that comes with it, the stock unit is 1.5 amps. This battery is 32 amps hour. It takes about 18 hours to charge with this stock charger, which is ridiculous. Apollo, if you guys are listening, ship that scooter with a fast charger, or at least 2 stock chargers, because 18 hours is insane. That's more like almost a day before you can reuse your scooter again. It's crazy. Guys, ship with 2 chargers, or with a fast charger, at least 5 amps. Cut that down to 8 hours or 9 hours of charge time. That makes a lot more sense. So that's so if you're buying the scooter, get a second charger. It's going to make it much more usable. And also the handlebars, like I said, that for me is the 2 main things. So the main aspect is that if you own a Pro right now and you're thinking about upgrading, is really a question of like how you're using your Pro. Like I said, the Ultra is not a slow scooter. Below 15 kilometers an hour, you'll actually feel the motors cogging, where it's just like giving, it's like the motors, you can actually feel them work. They're not smooth. The Pro has halo sensors on the motors, so even when it's standing still and you're accelerating from a standstill, it knows where the motors are positioned, so it will accelerate smoothly. The Ultra does not have any halo sensors on the motors, which means that if you're standing still and you have no forward momentum, the motors need to find their position before they start accelerating, which sometimes includes that they will actually go backwards. And that surprised the hell out of me when that happened, because you have the feeling like, what's wrong with my scooter? And then I did some research, and I talked to Eloy from Apollo, and he told me, yeah, it's kind of normal because there's no hall sensors. Like, apparently this is a thing with the high performance motors, no hall sensors. The motor must find its position, and sometimes it goes backwards to find the position before going forward. So you have to have it like push it a bit, like get some forward momentum a bit before accelerating, so that you avoid having this happen. So a slow scooter, it's not. And if you're buying this and you're going to be going downtown with it, and just like I said before, like trying to do slow maneuvers with it, is just not a fun scooter to do that. The power is much too sensitive. Just 1 millimeter on the throttle is the difference between 25 and 45 kilometers an hour, and it gets there in a blink of an eye. To ride the Ultra, you really have to lean into the corners. You can't really steer it with the handlebars. It really doesn't ride like the Pro as far as that's concerned. So after 200 kilometers on the scooter, a bit more, 230, am I happy with the upgrade? I am absolutely happy. Every time I ride it, I love it more. I'm getting more and more used to it. I'm getting more used to the power. I'm getting better at modulating the throttle. And I actually went back to my Pro because now it's my 14-year-old son who actually rides that thing. And I just took it out just to, compare. And I would not be able to go back to a Pro. It's the Pro just feels so slow. It feels soft. It feels too flexy. And once you have the Ultra in your hands, you will not be able to go back for sure. So you're trading off a bit of slow speed agility, where the Pro is really good. The Pro is really. I'm not dissing the Pro because I really like that scooter. I rode it, like I said, 1,300 kilometers, loved every minute of it. But the Ultra is just another level. So I still believe that the 52 volt Pro and Hydro Brakes is pretty much the best value scooter out there. I think that for the price that you're paying, you're getting a super good package. But if you have the pockets for it and you're looking for something that will go farther, then definitively the Ultra should be on your list. It's really the most amazing ride I've had, and until Apollo crams one of their Stormcore controllers in there in the coming weeks, I'm waiting for them to call me and tell me they have the time to do it, and then maybe that's going to be the other thing that's going to be even more insane. So I'll keep you guys updated, but I just wanted to give you a kind of a first impression of someone that wants to go from a Pro to an Ultra. Is it worth it, and what's to expect as far as what the difference between the two rides are. So that's it. I'll come back later when I have the Ludo installed, and I'll give you a review of what is the difference between the stock Ultra and Ludo modified Ultra. Ride safe, guys.